everybody.
Hello.
So I am Jamie and I'm here with Dr. Sarah Bivona, and we're both from Integrative Health and Wellness, and we're super excited. Today is actually, I think, a really fun topic.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody talk about this before, so we get to talk to you guys today about emotions and your health. So I know that this is, I guess I feel like it's a hot topic because nobody ever talks about this.
Yeah, or it's only like depression and anxiety, like the disease emotions, you know?
I do. So this is, I'm super excited about this one. And then Dr. Colin Consales, the other doctor here, is out front right now in our foyer teaching a class. And it's really nice because we get to reach out to you guys every week while one of the doctors is out front teaching a class about what you guys do, how you do it, and scientifically why it works here. I get to get the other one here in a hot seat, right? So, and it's just really nice. I feel like everyone of you guys watching out there, it's just been really excited to hear what you guys have to say, and it's just a nice way for you guys out there to get to know the doctors we have here. So we're super excited to have you guys join us. We're sorry we're a little bit late. We are having some technical difficulties. I'm going to move this a little bit closer so it feels like...
We said we blamed it on our vacation.
We're still on vacation. We're getting over our vacation
mode.
So, about that, Sarah, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah? How is everything?
It's fine.
I'm so glad to hear that. So, anything going on?
Nothing much, just living life.
I mean, don't you guys answer like this all the time? I mean, how many people do we see a day that we ask, well, how are you? I mean, truthfully, do you really want to know when you ask that question?
I mean, I think when I answer, I don't think you want to sit for as long as it would take to really tell you how I am.
Right? But it's like the polite thing to do is to ask, how are you?
Yeah.
And so it's so funny how much we hide or we just don't express, what's really happening with us, right? Mm-hmm. It's really cool because that's some of the things that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
I haven't met any other people locally, not even locally, even, anywhere that I've been who have done what you guys are doing with things like this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what would you say is an emotion?
That's it's confusing because obviously you would say like anger and happiness, but I actually, for the purpose of this live, went and looked up the definition of an emotion because even I was like, something you feel, but it's actually,
right.
It was an instinctive state of mind or like a response to your circumstances or reasoning. So it's basically like a programmed response that your mind created.
Oh.
That's an emotion.
So, I mean, in that essence, right, no one's right or wrong.
Right, yeah. It's
right?
just what your computer in your mind told you because this happened.
That I should feel this way.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's cool. So, what are some right and wrong ways to deal with emotions? Because we hear this all the time, don't we? Like,
deal with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I know. We were talking and I got frustrated because I don't like that word, deal. Because then it's your fault for having the emotion where, your brain is like a computer and it has its set programs. And so sometimes it isn't your fault that you have that or that it's wrong to be feeling that way. And so I don't really like dealing with it. But there is some things you can do, and we have actually, Dr. Colin Consales is teaching it right now in the actual class. We give you two, we call them stress relief techniques that you would do on your own that could help you deal with these emotions and make sure that you don't hold on to them, which we'll talk later on what could happen when you do hold on to them. So that would be the only thing, and we can definitely do more videos on it if there's interest in what these two techniques are. But
So I'm just going to ask you guys who are watching now, whether you're watching live or if you're going to watch the recording, because I know a lot of our patients do that, is if you guys want Dr. Sarah or Dr. Colin to do a video to give you some better coping mechanisms, how's that? Why don't you give us a thumbs up or give us a heart or give us a shout out and say, yes, I would love to hear that video. Because, you know, we just want to know that it's something that you would like them to spend time doing, which I know you wouldn't care about doing as long as somebody, of course, needed that. So.
Yeah, I don't want to bore you.
Yeah, so give us a thumbs up if you guys would like some different, better coping mechanisms. We got one. To learning how to deal with emotions. And I have to say, like, when I said that to you the other day, it was one of the first times I think that I saw you get a little, she like backed up from me, like, wait, I hate that, you know, I hate that you're saying deal.
Yeah. And
I thought, wow, that's really empowering as a patient, I think, to hear your doctor say that you don't have to deal with things or that it's not your fault. And I love that. I think that's just awesome and incredible. So
yeah, that's the one thing that, if you are my patient, that could frustrate me is you just are, I mean, I know we're taught basically not to express as much as we say in our mind, but I like people to just be honest and just whatever you're feeling, feel it, because I know it's your computer in your brain, it's not really you, so whatever it is, just vomit it out at me.
I love it. I used to, I know, like, we've done some work, you and Dr. Colin have done some emotional work with me, and often I always feel like you're my garbage can. Because it's like I just dump my garbage on them, and then they take it, and it's gone. It's like it's gone, but it's nice because I feel like it's even gone for you guys. I mean, I have to work with you after I do this. You know? And it's just really nice because it's like, for her, she just takes my garbage and lets it go, so it's not held against me or anything. So it's just really nice to be in an environment where you're safe.
Yeah,
it's like you feel safe.
There's nothing wrong with how you're feeling or what could come up.
But it's super cool, I think, like, for you just even initially to say, you know, it's how you deal with it, you're not having to deal with it, that makes it a nice place to come for that. So super cool. I'm going to ask you this. I know, like, I mean, there is a lot of stuff published about this, but for sake of argument, what are some consequences, like short term, for not, for having emotions in your life?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I usually make this more of the negative emotions, as opposed to the happy ones. But like short term, it will, if you're angry or you're scared, it stimulates the same part of your brain as like the fight or flight mechanism, same as if you're gonna get chased by a tiger back when we were cavemen. That part is still there, and so you'll have increased blood pressure, you'll have more sweating, you'll have more blood sugar because that will give you more energy to run away from the tiger. It actually, if you have like a negative emotion, it will kind of inhibit or shut down your immune system for up to 6 hours. So I mean, I always use this when I give the classes, but like depressed people, a lot of times they're sick all the time because they are, unfortunately, their brain computer is putting off like a negative emotion a lot, so their immune system is constantly shut down.
That makes a lot of sense. So when I have an emotion or something happens to me, there's like an emotional trauma. Let's just say I have road rage, right? Mm-hmm. So for 6 hours after that, my immune system is suppressed because of that. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And so what about long-term effects?
Yeah, so this is one, I mean, it could be anything. There was a study done and it found emotions actually attach themselves to proteins in your body, and they're called information substances if you really want to know. But these proteins then make up organs, they make up muscles, they make up even like your DNA, and so they will change how things function. So you can have a problem in your liver, you can have a problem in your lungs, and it could stem from long-term unresolved emotional stress.
So, okay, I'm sorry. This is crazy to me. So you just said that my emotions can affect my DNA.
Yes.
And my DNA then is what I pass on to my kids.
Yeah, I mean, potentially.
Right?
Yeah, we have like generations of learned actions.
So this is awesome, because if I were dealing with these, if I had better ways of dealing with these, or if I was physically well enough to deal with the traumas, the emotions we're all being exposed to, right? I mean, I love that what you're saying is that I could not only pass that down, like in my behavior to my kids, but in my DNA, right?
I mean, you can. Yeah.
It's just
It
amazing.
Depends on where your body shoots off these proteins.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So do you think there's a difference between emotions and emotional trauma?
Yes and no. Emotions, as we've learned, is more of an instinctive response to what's going on. I like to think of that as more of like, I mean, I know it's instinctive, but it's almost more of the conscious part. You're aware if you're happy or if you're angry or if you're sad. Where trauma is something, to me, that regardless of how traumatic it is, it was more than your brain and your body could physically like process at the time. So it kind of gets pushed back into your subconscious. So a lot of times emotional trauma is subconscious. Sometimes you're aware of it, sometimes you're not. Sometimes if it's really traumatic, it's not like you forgot that happened, but it's like the logical part of your brain, you'd be like, okay, this happened, but I'm over it. But your subconscious part still isn't, because you weren't able to fully like process what happened.
Okay. So how do you, I mean, when I come here, there are, not every time that I have been treated here, it's not always that there's an emotional treatment done for me. Right. So how do you know that? I mean, when you guys are treating somebody, how do you guys know that there's something emotionally happening to me?
Yeah, so generally we're always starting with a weak muscle, whether it's the muscle itself or it could be from an organ or anything. And I believe we've talked about this in other lives, and it's definitely on our website if you want to get more into like how the actual muscle testing works. But that would take a long time to do that here. But basically we have a weak muscle, and then there's one of three things that would cause that weak muscle. And I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that? Is it backwards? Probably backwards. I might want to just post this. But basically there's three things that could cause it. You have structure problems on the bottom. So that's basically, like the bones and the joints and the muscles. And then you have chemical that can be a problem. So that's anything you come in contact with, anything you eat, it's organs. It's basically almost like the nutrition side of the triangle. And then you also, equally as important, is the mental and emotional health. So whenever we have a weak area, we're looking at those three things to see why and like what would fix it. So part of the emotional point is you have emotional points on your forehead. I mean, how many people when they're stressed go like this? I mean, you're unconsciously treating yourself when you do that. And so we'll have you touch here, and if this strengthens that weak muscle, we know that you have an emotional stress component that we need to deal with. And then from there, we're working more with like the limbic system of the brain, which is the emotional center in the brain, and we use the acupuncture meridian system to kind of tap into that, because that's the only technique that you can like physically tap into the limbic system. And we kind of figure out through the whole treatment what this unresolved stress pattern is using the acupuncture meridian system and muscle testing, and we get down to like this original event that happened for you, whatever it is. And I always say sometimes it's not even what you consider traumatic today. I mean, I have a lot of people where it's like 5th grade and I don't know, they were changing schools to go to middle school, and apparently it was a big deal for their self. But as like a 40-year-old now, they're like, that's not a big deal. But yeah, they start bawling. So anyways, we find out what this is, and when you rethink about an event, your mind and body actually experience it as if it's happening for the first time. So anything that was going on in your body starts happening again, and your limbic system treats it as if it's happening right now. And so we'll have you think about this, touch acupuncture points and the emotional points, and we can actually help you kind of fully process this, so your body fully process it, so it's not holding on to this. And it actually physically will change the brain chemistry. And we have this, I know we can post this again, but this was a study done, I don't know if you can even see that, but this was done on cancer patients where they thought about the first time they were told they had cancer, and then the emotional centers light up, and then after the technique they thought about the first time they were told they had cancers, and the emotional centers don't light up. So it like physically changes the brain chemistry like instantly, painlessly, non-invasively, and it's really neat.
I think it's really cool. So it sounds like it's like stimulating the limbic system.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you guys have done a lot of emotional work on me, and afterwards I just didn't understand why. I just felt like a release, like an immediate release. And it wasn't that, there wasn't magically, you didn't magically these emotions or, right? This trauma didn't emotionally go away. I just, after the adjustment, really felt like I was able to handle it, I guess I want to say. Like whatever that was like you guys took it from me, like you released it from me.
Yeah.
Like it was stopped or blocked or something. And you're right, like some things had come up with me that I was like, what? You would pinpoint a time in my life that something happened, and it was so right on that I knew exactly what you were talking about. But it did baffle me that something like that would have such a profound effect on me at my age now.
Yeah. If you don't process it, you hold on to it.
And it's super cool too, because the more you guys make me physically and emotionally stable. Like every time I get an adjustment, I feel like I'm like more stable. I feel like I'm just better prepared to cope with things.
Yeah.
So it's like I react differently because I feel better, or I'm not so emotional on some things because I'm not so tired, I'm not so exhausted, I'm not so frustrated. Like it just all helps. It's like all in it's one big bundle.
Well, it's all related. I mean, Pavlo, that dog where they ring the bell and he drools because he's hungry.
Because he hears the bell, right?
Right. They trained him, like whenever you hear the bell, there's food. So whenever he hears the bell, he thinks he's going to eat. So the same thing happens with our subconscious and our mind. And limbic system is that whatever that trauma was, whether it's trauma or something like now, we'd be like, that wasn't a big deal. That is a conditioned response. And that limbic system, your brain kind of link that up. Like if these things kind of happen together, you're going to feel this way. So let's avoid it at all costs. So any event in your future that's slightly similar to that, you're going to react. And a lot of times that can cause like the anxiety and the stuff like that, or problems. I mean, that saying where she always dates the wrong guys, or you always gain and lose weight, or anything like that. It's because it's like a subconscious conditioned response that is due to an original trauma that wasn't fully processed.
I love that. So if I'm having some of these ailments that we talked about today, whether they're short-term or long-term ailments, how do I know if those are stemming from emotional traumas I had in my life?
Well, you won't. I mean, you'd have to actually be examined. You'd have to come in and see and find out. There's no way you would know. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that have trauma and kind of know that there'll be a component, but you don't know when that needs to be treated or how or what's it really affecting. So come in, we'll let you know.
And the coolest thing about that too is that,
Sorry, getting my water.
I think that, if you're having any of the ailments that we talked about, something is wrong somewhere, whether it's structural or mental or chemical. Was that the third one?
Yes.
See, I'm getting a test now. And so it's really nice is that both of the doctors here treat all three things. And it's just an a non-invasive test to figure those things out. So why not come in, right?
Find out what's going on.
All right, so if any of you are out there and you're not a patient already, or if you are a patient and you just haven't been here in a while and you need to get back in here, you can always call us at 724-205-6260. I'll be the one answering the phone, scheduling that for you. We also have a class. It's that free class that her and Dr. Colin Kinsales teach while we're doing these. That's in our foyer every Wednesday. Moving forward, we had to have one today because of 4th of July, but typically they're every Wednesday from 5:30 to 6:30. Those classes are free, but seats are limited because it's a smaller space. So please look on our website. You can find a list of our classes there. You can call me. I'd be happy to reserve your seat for you. And we hope this helped. We are always looking for different topics that you guys are wanting to hear from the doctors about. So if you just send those to us, and we always appreciate shares, likes, and hearts. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.